Yo, what's good, my people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to give you my WWE SmackDown review for April 4th, 2014. I had to record this a few times, fucked that up so many times. So, I'm giving you my WWE SmackDown review, plus the NXT review, and a main event review, plus my WWE WrestleMania 30 predictions, and it's all in this video here. So, let's get it on. So, here we go. Main event. Main event happened on April 2nd or April 1st, if whichever one you're watching on, for 2014. And your first match was The Miz versus Sheamus. Now these two had an okay match that was pretty long, because matches on main event are usually more longer than anything else. Only thing to set up this match was the 30-man battle royal between these two guys. Sheamus really has nothing behind him going into this match. Neither does The Miz, but the 30-man battle royal, and the crowd kind of had that feeling that, you know, they didn't really have nothing behind them for this match, and they put on an okay match here. You know, both of these guys can work, you know, in the ring, even with all the bullshit about The Miz. The Miz can work. He tries to put on his figure four on one time on Sheamus, still fuck that up, but ends up getting it on him. Sheamus kicks out. Sheamus hit the bro kick, pick up the win. Like I said, an okay match between these guys. Next, you get a Divas match with Nikki Bella versus Tamina. Now, these girls have an okay match, just more setting up for the Divas Invitational versus AJ Lee's title. But these two girls had an okay Divas match. They did what they needed to do here. You get Tamina, who hits the big splash, and the super funk, her dude's name is Splash, that she does, and picks up the win here. And you get AJ Lee, who comes in and starts awkwardly hugging Tamina and stuff like that. And it's basically playing off the whole thing of what happened on Raw. These two girls are back together because Tamina tried to save AJ in the Lumberjills match, and now they're having this love-hate relationship right now. Tamina still's not liking her, but she realizes that she's her only friend, so you still got them two together, which I'll talk more about how I feel about this when I talk about my predictions for WrestleMania and the Divas Invitational. So next you get your NXT show, which happened on Thursday, April 3rd, 2014, and first match you get is Emma versus Sasha Banks. Now, these two girls are indicative of what NXT has right now. Two girls that have a nice moveset, that look beautiful, plus have very good characters. In this match alone, you had Emma, who was doing a lot of, you know, crazy, funny things with Sasha Banks, and, you know, doing exactly what she needed to do here. And I really like the way this match went along. You know, both of them did their thing here, and you got a little bit of involvement with Charlotte, who was out there with Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks ends up having a mishap with Charlotte, and Emma ends up picking up the win with the Emma lock. So you get a pretty chill match between them. Not the best match that I've seen both of them have, but it was an okay match here, and pretty, you know, had an okay amount of time for them. Next, you get the Ascension, who basically have a squash match, hit these nobodies with the Fall of Man and pick up the win. After that, you get Brodus Clay versus Xavier Woods. These two have a pretty solid match together, a match that was basically set up through Xavier Woods taking Brodus Clay's theme music and his girls and everything, and taking basically his whole character from him. And now you got them two who's going in for a fight on NXT, and I'll talk more about this in a second, but this match here was solid. You get both of them who throw down a lot of slams, a lot of kicks and stuff like that, and did an okay match. Brodus Clay ends up picking up the win after hitting a splash onto Xavier Woods off the ropes. And you get Brodus Clay, who starts talking about at the end how everything that was taken away from him, and now he has to revamp himself, and he's doing it in NXT, and now he wants to go after Adrian Neville's NXT title. And what I really liked about this was that kind of idea of sending this guy back to NXT and letting him build up a little bit something, even if it's for a few weeks, for him with going up against, you know, Adrian Neville's NXT title. If you can't do it on Raw, SmackDown, main event, at least let him do it in NXT, where you got fresh new talent for him to take on and something for him to help build himself up with. So I really like the idea of this, and you got him challenging Adrian Neville for his title. And also you get a backstage promo with Adrian Neville, who's talking about how Brodus Clay has to go through and prove himself a little bit more before he can get a chance for his title. So next you get the beautiful one, Tyler Breeze versus your only Asian on the roster, Yoshitatsu. And these two put on an okay match here. It was kind of a squash match with a little bit of offense from Yoshitatsu. You got Tyler Breeze, who put on a lot of offense here and ends up winning with the beauty shot and pinning Yoshitatsu. I'm happy to see Yoshitatsu get some more TV time, especially being on NXT. And same thing with Brodus Clay, putting him back on NXT, even though he's jobbing still, and just, kind of building him up a little bit more. Hopefully he can show something here. I think he kind of is. And hopefully, he can build himself up on NXT and do something with that after he's done jobbing at everybody. But an okay match between them two, and you get Tyler Breeze posing for the win. And also, they're talking about Tyler Breeze as well challenging for the NXT title, so you may get something coming up with that too. After that, you get Corey Graves versus Sami Zayn, and these two had an okay match. The beginning of it was very nice. You had Corey Graves, who kind of played, the heelish moves of not going in and not trying to let Sami Zayn attack him, but once it gets worse, where Sami Zayn says, fuck it, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, you get some very good moveset from Sami Zayn here. The match kind of got to a slow point once Corey Graves started putting on headlocks. And it even got to a bad point because he was kept doing headlocks and the crowd started chanting, "We love headlocks," in a sarcastic type of way, saying they don't love headlocks. And I think even when people was chanting that, people were saying, no, we don't. But my problem with this match was that even though it was okay and I thought Corey Graves did an okay job here, it wasn't really what it needed to be, especially going in for what the end of the match was, which was basically Sami Zayn ends up getting more head injuries because he was coming in through this match with basically the whole thing of him getting knocked around a few weeks ago and now end up catching a concussion from that, and now he's coming back supposedly cleared, and this match ends up stopping with Corey Graves knocking him around a few more times, Sami Zayn getting the look of, confusion into him like he's about to have another concussion going on. The referee ends up stopping it when Corey Graves puts Sami Zayn inside of his submission. I think it's called the Lucky 13, and they end up stopping it from that. Like I said, I didn't say this yet, but the only problem that I had with this match was that for the way it ended, the things Corey Graves were doing and the way it ended, Corey Graves didn't really do a good enough amount of damage onto Sami Zayn's head to make it look like, Sami Zayn was really catching his, concussion from what he was doing. Something more damaging to his head. Just the headlocks wasn't working to me, If you look at guys like William Regal, you look at Daniel Bryan or somebody like that, or especially how Alberto Del Rio worked on Dolph Ziggler's head in his match, that really played up a concussion angle because of the way Alberto Del Rio was playing that. And, I just like that more compared to this. I understand this is developmental, but you got to development that, getting your moveset better to where it's more of a vicious moveset. What Alberto Del Rio has in his moveset, Corey Graves needs to have a kind of similarity to it, because both of his moves are leg and head moves, whether or not it's going to be head moves going onto Sami Zayn. But if that's going to be the case, he needs to go on there. He needs to find better ways of making, it more entertaining or more vicious to what he's doing to somebody's head. I just didn't feel that, and it didn't give me a good feeling that he did enough damage to Sami Zayn for Sami Zayn to play it off the way he did. And Corey Graves ends up picking up the win after the ref just says, okay, Sami Zayn's had enough. And that's the way you end the show. But you also had Bruno Sammartino, who as Triple H introduced the Bruno Sammartino statue for the WrestleMania, the WWE Hall of Fame. And I think this is going to be at WrestleMania, the Access. But you had him introduce the statue, and Bruno Sammartino was really happy about this, and just nice to see them introduce another statue along with the Andre the Giant statue. So that's what basically that was. So next we can go on to WWE SmackDown, and let's try to get through this pretty quickly. You have a match with Dolph Ziggler versus Titus O'Neil. And they had a pretty physical match here. Titus O'Neil took a lot of offense in this match, and you get Dolph Ziggler, who comes at the end and hits the zigzag on Titus. Dolph Ziggler got some offense here, but Titus O'Neil was looking pretty beast here. I thought this was a pretty chill match, pretty solid between these guys, especially one going into WrestleMania, and there's not really supposed to be nothing really substantial happening on the show, but they did have on a pretty solid match on the go-home show for WrestleMania SmackDown, which usually is a nothing show. And especially this leading in with Dolph Ziggler going into the 30-man Battle Royal and just getting him another win. Another match that you had for the night was the Real Americans with Zeb Coulter on the outside versus the Los Matadors with El Torito on the outside. And another pretty physical match between some guys. You had this match have even a little bit of story to it. Both of these teams put on a pretty physical match, but I do have to say the Real Americans carried this match a lot and made it look as physical as it did. I don't think there was really anything Los Matadors did here to, either push themselves up anymore or get the crowd on their side at all. One of the more interesting parts of this match was when Cesaro started to lose a little bit, and he goes out to talk to Zeb Coulter. Zeb Coulter gives him a slap. It fires Cesaro up, and he starts getting mad at Coulter. Swagger comes to break it up, and you get Cesaro who goes in and starts dominating off of that slap. And, just the same thing that happened with Jack Swagger, and just kind of the whole thing of whether or not that's going to be the thing that's going to break this group up, or whether or not, this is just a whole nother thing of these guys being fired up by Zeb Coulter and leading into their tag team match. You get the Real Americans who basically put out their whole moveset here, big swings and everything, and Cesaro ends up hitting up the neutralizer on one of the Los Matadors and picks up the win for the Real Americans. And it's going to be interesting to see what this leads into with WrestleMania happen this weekend. So another thing that happened on this show was you had interviews with Booker T and Randy Orton, and another interview with Booker T and Batista. And basically both of these guys just talked about themselves, hyped themselves up, and talked more about, the things that have been happening leading up to WrestleMania, and how, Batista's kind of came in here and people were booing him. He got a few cheers here and there, but, what's been going on with him and Triple H being called, just another movie star coming in. Batista kind of played this as a egotistical heel that, nothing really was bothering him, nothing anybody said bothered him and stuff like that. I kind of like that, but, I wish Batista would have showed a little bit more anger here. That's between both of these guys. They don't show enough, just aggressiveness and just more character when the time needs to be, especially when they're on the camera. I really feel that these guys need to put up more character, especially when they're on that camera, and especially during the interviews. You look at somebody like John Cena. John Cena really puts out his character when he's on camera. Any interview that Bray Wyatt does, he really puts out on his character. Any interview that Triple H does, Triple H, Dolph Ziggler, Daniel Bryan, Cena, all of them, like I said, put out their character when they're on camera, even Booker T, so I would love to see these two guys especially do more of that after WrestleMania. And the same thing with Randy Orton, he came out there and he was really kissing ass to the Authority and, doing all that stuff like that. But as far as these little promo goes, backstage promos or whatever you want to call them, or promo packages, whatever you want to call them, I thought they were okay, and they did exactly what they needed to do for SmackDown and just lean into the main event of WrestleMania. So the last thing you saw on the show was Hulk Hogan coming out, and he basically hyped up the 30-man Battle Royal. That was it. Just getting him there on the SmackDown in DC, which all this was filmed the night of Raw. So getting him there on the show, and the last thing we're going to see going into WrestleMania is the host of WrestleMania. So that was basically it. And he was just telling everybody that the trophy is made and stuff like that. And here's a little glimpse of the trophy. I don't know what to say. It's pretty big for what it is. It's not too big, not too small. The one that the dude is chipping away on, that's the trophy, not the big thing behind him. But for what it is, I think it's pretty big, about the size of this dude's torso and head and torso. So it's pretty big, especially if you add the stand onto it, it'll be pretty big. I wasn't really expecting it to be as big as the statue, but as far as the trophy goes, I think it's going to be pretty cool and something that they can still carry to the ring, whoever wins it. So another thing I can show you is the Hall of Fame rings. This was pretty exciting to me because I like how they engrave them. You got some people who just have their name engraved into the ring, but I really do like Ultimate Warrior's engraving into his ring with the mask and stuff. I just wanted to show you that they were showing them on the whole WWE thing. So I just wanted to show that. But on the WWE website, so that's pretty cool. So here we go. Talking about my WrestleMania 30 predictions. Before I get into this, I have to talk about this. WrestleMania 30 versus WrestleMania 29. And even versus WrestleMania 28. And especially talking about the build up to these WrestleManias. For the last 2, almost 3 years, I think this is the best, WrestleMania build up that we had. A lot of people talk about how, there's a few problems. Not everything is great going to this WrestleMania. You had some things that were last minute. But when you look at, especially looking at last year, how if you look at the matches that were built up, the Shield match that was versus Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus, you had the Ziggler and his crew, which at the time was AJ Lee and Big E versus the Team Hell No. And you had, Ryback versus Mark Henry, Jericho versus Fandango. Just all those matches, and you had your top main matches was Triple H versus Lesnar, Undertaker versus Punk, and The Rock versus Cena. If people remember those matches and remember the build up for those matches, it was fucking pretty piss poor to me, and to a lot of people. I remember everybody online, just all the IWC and just everybody, Marks, everybody was shitting on how shitty that build-up was. And then even how kind of mediocre the WrestleMania card itself was. So when you look at this year, and you look at all the build-up that happened, especially with the stuff with Triple H, Daniel Bryan, the things with Batista, Randy Orton, the stuff with Undertaker, Lesnar, the stuff with Cena and Wyatt, the things that the Shield did, the things that the Tag Team Champions did, and the Real Americans did going into this, even the Diva stuff, which last year you didn't even have. For the last few years, there was really no resemblance of a Divas division going into WrestleMania or on the WrestleMania card. They were more of just a basic filler thing. And another thing, on SmackDown tonight, you had even a promo package for the Divas. So, you had AJ Lee, fucking allergies and shit, but you had AJ Lee who did a promo package, which, like a video package thing. And when was the last time you seen the Divas, have a talking promo package for them, especially going into WrestleMania, and especially this being the first Divas title match in WrestleMania. So it's WrestleMania history, the first Divas title match. So, there's a lot of good to okay things going into this WrestleMania, and I think this is the best build they had for years. It's not great, but if you look at a lot of the things, especially comparing to the last few years, WWE is putting themselves into a better spot here. And, a building process has to be done, and I think this is a great start. So let's go into my predictions of this WrestleMania and go into the first match. So, the first match of WrestleMania, which is in New Orleans, WrestleMania 30, is the pre-show match, which is the Tag Team Champions Usos versus Ryback versus the Real Americans versus the Los Matadors. And with this match, as far as the build-up goes, it was mostly basically just the things that were happening with the Real Americans, the stuff that was happening with the Usos, and, just their build-up going into this, just their match alone. I mean, just, them fighting each other alone. But you add a couple more teams because of what happened in storylines and stuff like that, and the things that happened with Kane, and just, just different match stuff. As far as just the build-up goes, it was okay. It was more of a match-type build-up where, these guys, just built themselves up as characters going in. I like the things that happened with the Usos, especially them winning the titles that way and winning in Chicago. I thought that was a pretty good thing to do. And I even liked how, the Real Americans had a very good, kind of split thing happening to them, then getting back together with the culture slapping people and stuff like that. And, just really just the whole hype with Cesaro and Swagger right now. You know, eyes are on them, eyes are on the Usos. Those are the two teams that I wish it was just a match between them two, and they just build off of that. But with the Los Matadores and right back, so, you know, you get more guys to get beat up on during the match. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with them. As far as who I think is going to win this match, I think the Usos are going to come out with the win. And also think that Real Americans are going to break up here. I think that all the teams that are being teased to break up at WrestleMania, I think it's going to be the Real Americans that break up. I don't think the Shield is going to break up, and I don't think, you know, a lot of other people are going to break up. And even going into the Divas match, you may have a breakup, but I don't even think that's going to happen. I think the Shield is going to break up. I mean, I think the Real Americans is going to break up here. Shield's not going to break up. Shield's not going to break up. But the Real Americans are going to break up here, and you're going to get that final conflict with each other. So the next thing I could talk about is the Divas match. And now you have your Divas Invitational, One Fall Invitational. So as far as the build-up goes for this, I think the build-up would have been better if it wasn't for one fucking person, Oksana. If she didn't hurt Naomi, I think that we would have probably had a better Divas match, even a singles match going on in here. And, you know, they would have had an actual build with AJ Lee and Naomi here. I would like to say this. This is going to be the first time the Divas actually get a title match on the fucking WrestleMania show, which is something that, you know, never happened until 30. You know, how long have the Divas title actually been here? And, you know, this is the first time this is happening. So, you know, I would tell people, you know, just let the Divas build. You know, the division has been the best has been in the last 5 years, I would say. You know, Kelly had her run, Beth Phoenix had her run, and all through all of that, you know, it was pretty piss poor. You know, even when Beth Phoenix was here, it was fucking pretty piss poor. Don't, you know, put yourself off. The division was poor. You know, the girls were still having 1 minute matches and stuff like that, and, you know, just matches with Kelly and even Alicia Fox at the time, because she didn't, you know, wasn't really that great of a wrestler at the time. And even looking at Maurice and stuff like that, Maurice and just Melina and stuff like that, you know, just all of them, you know, you could tell they didn't want to be there, and they were just using it as a stepping stone to get themselves somewhere else. But as far as these girls go in this Divas Invitational, I think that, you know, you got a set of divas here who, you know, a few of them, like, you know, Eva Mendes and who else? Layla and the Bellas, Oksana, and Cameron. You know, them people still need, Eva Marie, I'll add her too. They still need a lot of work. You know, the Bellas have been building themselves up better, and they're starting to find themselves. You haven't saw nothing from Eva Mendes, or Rosa Mendes, I mean. And you haven't saw anything from Oksana, even though she's been featured a lot, especially going into WrestleMania, or as far as earlier this, you know, dealing with this year. But those girls you really haven't saw a lot from, and they haven't really done anything with the time that they were given. So as far as this match itself, it may be a clusterfuck. And there's no telling what's going to go on with this match. You know, it's a one fall match. Vicky Girl set it up, so, you know, that you also have that to say. And I don't know. As far as who I think is going to win here, I'm hoping Naomi. I think she can really pick up a win at WrestleMania, and she can really do something with a win here. Also, so can Tamina. You know, them two can really do something with a win here. I think they're the only two that can do something with a win at WrestleMania, especially building up to a better division. I say that you can do a lot with AJ Lee keeping the title. Not a lot, but, you know, you can get a moment out of here with AJ Lee keeping the title. But I think just AJ Lee being the longest running Divas champion is enough, and is, you know, a big enough thing for her in the things that she's done with the division. She's had her spots and she had her moments, and, you know, just making a good match out of this would give her enough moment. I think really setting up Naomi here for who I'm going to pick as the winner of this match would be very good. So let's go into our next thing. So the next match is the Shield versus Corporate Kane and the Corporate Outlaws. And as far as the build-up goes for this, it's basically the Shield breaking up thing going on with the Shield getting back together. and then the New Age Outlaws losing their belts, and the whole thing with Kane versus Bryan, and Kane versus the Shield, and just all that stuff going down from here. My thoughts on all of it is just that I feel that the Shield going against the Outlaws is kind of a filler thing, just something to get the Shield on the show, and I thought it was okay setup, and this would have been okay setup for a regular pay-per-view. Just as far as just seeing these guys go at it. Everybody knows the better match for WrestleMania will be the Shield versus the Wyatts. Everybody knows that. But the thing that's going on with the Wyatts and Cena is what needs to happen. But the New Age Outlaws asked for this. They requested these guys, so hopefully the Outlaws can put on something here. We know the Shield's going to work. We know the Shield is going to do their thing. Hopefully the Outlaws can do something here and give us a good match. As far as just the match it goes itself, the winners, the Shield. I don't see them breaking up here. I see the Shield looking dominant here. I see the Outlaws and Kane really taking themselves and breaking their bodies here. Hopefully, if what I want them to do is really put themselves out there and really put these new guys over, and hopefully that's what the corporate guys can do, or the authority guys can do, whatever you want to call them. So your next match is the 30-man Battle Royal, and I'm not going to say all the guys who were in this fucking match. You can look at the picture and tell yourself. But as far as the build-up goes for here, I thought this was a pretty good build-up, especially dealing with, bringing out Hulk Hogan to introduce this, the whole history of Andre the Giant, the whole history of WrestleMania Battle Royals being talked about. You had Roddy Piper come in and help with this. You had the some stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger come in and help build this up, and then you also had different little things going into this. You had a IC title match on Raw a week or so ago, which helped kind of build this up as well. You had the feud between Sheamus and Christian, which helped build into this, and you had just a lot of things with the Big Show build into this. So just a lot of different things help build this match up right here. And I thought it had a pretty chill build as far as just being a 30-man battle royal. Beyond what it had from Hulk Hogan, it really didn't need anything else. But I thought the WWE did a good job of building up some guys, especially the few select guys going into this match. Now, prediction wise, you have the guys who I'm saying may be the top guys in this match, and who may be the last 5. I would say Alberto Del Rio, the Big Show, Goldust, or Cody Rhodes. I will put them as one. You may have one of those 2 guys. Biggie Langston and Dolph Ziggler. I would say your last. Well, Sheamus. I have to add Sheamus there too. And if Christian back, you may have him back there. So your last few guys, those are going to be, I think. As far as the last 3, most definitely, since the guys who I see being built up most for this is the Big Show, Sheamus, and Dolph Ziggler. The win that I think everybody is thinking, especially the way from the build-up is going, the Big Show is going to win. But my pick is Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler needs this more than the Big Show. The Big Show's had plenty of WrestleMania moments and plenty of things, to show that how big of a guy he is. I think him and Ziggler being the last 2 guys in this match, and just Dolph Ziggler picking up this win here, would be the thing that Dolph Ziggler's been looking for in his big moment at WrestleMania, his big moment in the WWE, as far as another thing that's getting him over. The Big Show had plenty of big moments and plenty of things that he's done, and people saying, oh, Big Show needs this. He doesn't. He's going out. The Big Show had billions of things that happened for him. So I think this right here is really would cement Dolph Ziggler here and be the thing that really puts him over. So yeah, Dolph Ziggler is my pick to win this match. So next you get Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. And this is a match that was teased in fucking December of last year. The rumors happening, and then at Royal Rumble, you had just the whole thing of people saying, oh, this is going to happen. And then at Elimination, was it at Royal Rumble? Yeah, Royal Rumble, where the whole attack to Cena, Elimination Chamber with another attack at John Cena and stuff like that. And just, this complete build up for this match. The Wyatt family has been looking better and better and better going into this match, and just everything that's been going on with Bray Wyatt, the promos that he's been cutting, from his entering into the WWE until now, this guy has really made himself a high mid card to main event, low main event player. And he isn't at that top main event spot, but he's making himself to one of the better heels in this company and one of the better heels that we've seen in a long time. John Cena himself, coming down from his whole title thing, he picked up a few wins and losses this year, and last year as well. Just as far as himself building up to this match, he kind of caught himself here. I think this is the best we've seen of Cena in a while, especially during the build-up wise. The thing that he did where, he kind of joked at Bray Wyatt at first. Then he took it seriously, talking about his fear and stuff to Bray Wyatt. And then to even this past week's Raw, where he put on a mask and kind of tricked Bray Wyatt and then cut a pretty nice promo at the end. I think Cena has been the best he's been in a while going into WrestleMania here. And as far as my predictions to win here, a lot of people saying Cena may win. A lot of people will be disappointed if Cena wins. But for me, even if Cena does win, I think Bray Wyatt will look phenomenal here, especially if these two go out there and put on a phenomenal match. Bray Wyatt is going to look good. But I think the WWE are going to give the win to Bray Wyatt. I really do. I think this will be the thing that either keeps this. I think this feud is going to go on past WrestleMania, but this will be the thing that keeps the feud going on, and also be the thing that makes Bray Wyatt a bigger character and a bigger star, especially picking up a win on John Cena. I think that it's not going to be a clean win, but I think Bray Wyatt's going to pick up the W. I don't think it's going to be a disqualification. I think Bray Wyatt's going to pick up the W here. It's going to be something with the Wyatt family, but Bray Wyatt's going to pick up the W and sustain himself as his first WrestleMania win. So yeah, I think this is one of the best build-ups going into WrestleMania for Cena for a long time, and this is one of the best build-ups of this WrestleMania 30. So next you get The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. And this match had a good start and a good ending. This build-up had a good start and a good ending to it. The whole thing with Undertaker stabbing Brock Lesnar, slamming him through the table with the pin and slamming him through the table, and then the end where Brock Lesnar finally gets the Undertaker and F5s him, those were good. The middle segments here and there were okay and stuff, but this build-up's been okay for these guys. This is working off of the whole thing of what the stare down that happened with them on Brock Lesnar's one of his last matches where he lost the title in UFC, and them two had a stare down. This is all coming off of that. And plus, just Brock Lesnar looking to cement himself as the greatest of all time in the WWE, and that's the most biggest and baddest guy in the WWE. And, just the way that they're putting up this match. Like I said, I thought the build was okay. It wasn't nothing spectacular. And I kind of get it, This is The Undertaker's 22nd match. And how many fucking times can you build up a match like this, 21 times, dude. 21, 22 times, you're not going to be able to build that shit up so many times and to make a great match for The Undertaker. So, it was what it was. As far as my predictions go, Undertaker's going to win here. I think this is just more of the whole thing of let's get a really good match. Brock Lesnar finally facing Undertaker at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman on Brock Lesnar's side. Paul Heyman's been great through this build-up as far as himself and his promos he's been cutting, but Undertaker's going to win here, and I just see a really great match happening here. So, next thing we can talk about is Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. The build-up for this match, man, coming from SummerSlam, everything that's been going on between these two guys, just, wow. Just the way Daniel Bryan has built himself, going from SummerSlam of last year to now, has just been phenomenal. And WWE has tried their best to, kind of put the halt on this guy's groove and where he's going to from here. And Daniel Bryan's just not taking it, he's becoming a star. And he's becoming as big as The Rock, as big as Stone Cold, so to me, he's going to beat Triple H. But as far as the build-up goes, Triple H has been great here as well, and so has Stephanie McMahon. Triple H has been doing a phenomenal job of turning himself back into the guy that everybody thinks he is, as far as all the internet crowd, as this guy who buries people, who goes out there and doesn't let anybody take a step over him. He doesn't put over anybody. You're either under his shovel or you're nowhere. And I love the way Triple H did this, and even kind of introducing a new to the reality era with himself here. And just, him and Daniel Bryan has been having really good things. You had Daniel Bryan have some really good just pops with the crowd. The whole Occupy Raw thing, the whole coming from the Wyatts thing in Seattle. Then you also had, the beatdowns for both of them on each side. And just everything that they've been doing have been a very good setup for their WrestleMania match. As far as the winner goes, it's got to be Daniel Bryan. The only way I can see the WrestleMania ending is with Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan's going to win this match and going on to this next match, which is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, triple threat. And I think Daniel Bryan's going to be in this match. I think we're going to get a pretty chill match here. As far as the build-up goes with Batista and Randy Orton, Batista coming in, you had a lot of problems. I think Batista kind of finally caught himself going after what do you call it? What's this shit called? Elimination Chamber. And Randy Orton finally caught himself coming into the year. And, both of them I thought found their groove, but not enough of their groove to really make this a, phenomenal match, even when between them two. Batista and Randy Orton. Batista more along the line caught his heel side together and got himself together a little bit. He still needs a lot of work in the ring, but hopefully Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan can carry this match. But Randy Orton kind of caught his heel persona here, just being this egotistical asshole of a guy who's just off his fucking, mind, just crazy. So, as far as this match goes, I see Daniel Bryan really coming out here and picking up the win. And I see Daniel Bryan standing tall at the end of the night with both belts. I don't see Triple H getting to this match. I see Daniel Bryan pinning Randy Orton and coming out with the win here and substantially sustaining and putting himself out there as WWE champion. And the whole crowd, 75,000 people chanting yes. And those are my predictions. I had to redo and do this video a lot of times and try to get this shit together, but it's finally done. Those are my predictions for WrestleMania. This is going to be the Daniel Bryan show. He's going to have his 2 matches and he's going to do his thing here. My like, comment, subscribe. My things are down below. This has been a long video. I've tried to record this video several times and I've been fucking up, but this is what you get for WrestleMania. Comment. I will comment back. Hit me up on my links out there down below and stuff like that. And thank you for watching. And dude, have a great WrestleMania. Watch it. If you want to buy the network, I would say buy it. We need to test this fucking network and we need to try to blow it out. I hope the WWE can get this network working and we have a good WrestleMania here and where the network doesn't fuck up. But, I'm really hoping the network doesn't fuck up. But hopefully WWE get a lot of people that watch and WWE stays hold here. So thank you for watching and peace. See you at WrestleMania.